Recognise that tune? Oh yeah, it's Ulysses 31. I've touched on this cartoon show briefly before, purely on the basis of the song, but let's take a look at the show and see what made it so damn cool. Well, for a start off, Ulysses. Ulysses is the man. Ulysses is cool. Everybody likes Ulysses. And he doesn't just have friends like we do. Oh no. Guess what? He has. He has companions. What a guy! And please, let's not forget Ulysses' witty one-liners. Come on.
What in the gasping galaxy is going on? Shirka isn't by the cosmic dust. That is extraordinary. Shirka,
also, who does Ulysses remind you of? Hell yeah! He was in the Bee Gees, wasn't he? That's it! Now I know. And I love the really trippy 70s style music it had in it. Spot on! Really set the atmosphere for the show. Also, if you remember, in the very first episode, all of Ulysses' companions frozen as punishment for defying the gods. So it leaves us with a very small cast for the show. So the only two unaffected are his son Telemachus and Yumi. And of course, No, the little robot, who's quite obnoxious to start with, but as the season progresses, he kind of grows on you. You see, in the very first episode, Telemachus gets kidnapped and Ulysses comes to rescue him, and in the process, unfortunately, this Cyclops creature gets destroyed, and the gods are now really ticked off with Ulysses. How dare Ulysses defy the gods? So they punish him. So because of that, Ulysses is now forced to roam the galaxy, unable to return to Earth, until the gods are satisfied that he's been tested enough. The gods are quite cruel, actually, aren't they? Damn gods. Anyway, so that is essentially the premise of the show. And for those of you who haven't seen it, you don't know what you're missing. All I can do is highly recommend this show. So in doing so, what I thought I'd do is I'd recommend my top 5 episodes, not top 10. Remember, this is only a one-season show, so it's like 24, 26 episodes. So the best thing I can do is recommend 5 episodes that I think are must-see if you're not going to watch the whole show. So you know what? Let's get going. Okay, Calypso, this is a great episode. What it is she works for Zeus. And as you know, Ulysses has been through a lot of trials now, and he's still alive. Now the gods are a bit ticked off at this, so they command Calypso to make sure this is Ulysses' last trial and to kill him. And she's quite happy to carry out this wish until she meets Ulysses. So she sends out a fake distress call to him. And even though Shirka says, no, we think it's a trap, even though Yumi says she thinks it's a trap, Telemachus doesn't. And Ulysses wants to meet this woman anyway, so he goes with Telemachus' opinion. What a guy! Now Calypso is quite happy to go along with killing Ulysses, but the second she meets him and he saves her life, she suddenly falls in love with him. I really love this bit. Look, a real good close-up of the eyes, and actually it's so well executed, the eyes just say it all. But will Ulysses betray his wife? Unfortunately, Calypso is unable to hide the truth.
You love him, Calypso.
It's the hair thing going on. But will Ulysses betray his wife? Will she still kill him? Will the gods succeed? Well, I'm afraid you'll have to watch the episode if you want to find out. I'm not saying any more.
Very well, my queen.
Okay then, trapped between fire and ice. This is a classic story. They find this old derelict spaceship floating around in space. And it appears to be 10 centuries old. So this is one hell of an old ship. And it's very large as well. I love these sort of stories where you find anything to do with spaceships and ships and derelicts and things with ghosts and stuff. You know, always appeals to me. So they get a readout of this ship. And it's unbelievable that this ship has made it all the way to here. So because it's come from Earth, Ulysses thinks, well, there must be a way for it to send us back home. Maybe it's got coordinates.
I saw a model identical to this one in a museum on the exploration of the solar system.
I can't believe it.
So they board this 1,000-year-old spaceship and start having a look around, and they find that the computer system still seems to be functioning. And it seems to be the only thing that's running the ship. Heard that one before? Well, it doesn't actually follow that course, so yeah, I'm just misleading you, sorry. Well, they start exploring around and find there's a human in some sort of cryogenic stasis. How could he still be here? What's going on? He can't have been here for 1,000 years. And where's everybody else gone?
No,
Eh?
he seems to be in a state of suspended animation.
Then all of a sudden the machine starts to seem to reactivate itself.
See that, Yumi? This is unbelievable. He's trying to get up.
And the bloke starts to come round. Who is this guy?
Listen, can you hear me, traveler? I have come to save you.
Well, that's not quite true, Ulysses. You're looking for charts to get yourself back to Earth. He just happened to be on here. You can't really have come to save him because you didn't know he was on there.
Where is the crew?
But you know what? I don't care because it's Ulysses and he can do whatever he damn well pleases.
Crew stayed at base station. Sent out and
Anyway, this guy starts rambling on about
ice cold.
ice and fire and hot, because let's face it, we haven't talked about Trap Between Fire and Ice yet. There's been no reference to it. Anyway, so Telemachus starts poking around and finds out something he shouldn't. Do you want to know what he finds out? Well, I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to watch it yourself. Here's an interesting story. Okay, it starts off that Yumi's feeling sorry for herself, that her brother's still, you know, hanging around. And this is essentially No-No's story. So No-No's doing a little bit of slapstick at the beginning. You think, it's going to be pretty much the same. He's going to, you know, arse around for a bit and then we'll carry on with the proper story. But no, the story is going to pivot around No-No. So all of a sudden he just collapses, as do all the other robots. Shirka decides that she won't listen to Ulysses. Yes, Shirka will not listen to Ulysses. My goodness. Then all of a sudden Shirka springs back into life, takes control of the ship, apparently seems to be talking to herself, and starts flying them on a course that they have no idea where they're going.
Shirka isn't answering me, and yet she is working.
So Shirka seals them into the bridge and takes them to looks like a Borg planet. Anyway, they land, and it seems to be completely run by machines who start dismantling their ship, which really, really upsets Ulysses. Look, he's really ticked off with this. That's outrageous. And they start carrying off all their robots and equipment. Bad move. Anyway, this is where the story becomes No-No's, because there's a female version of him who takes a shine to him instantly. And that's what I found quite nice about this story, because it's No-No's story. Anyway, she doesn't want him dismantled or taken away. She wants him for herself. One can only wonder. Alright, don't you lot tell anybody, but I found these scenes in it between them two quite cute. And, well, No, being the gentleman that he is, he offers her one of his nuts. I know you can read anything you want into that, but that is literally what he does. And she's the only one to have ever eaten one of his nuts or bolts. Yet again, we can read what we want into that, but let's not, eh? Anyway, it's explained to No-No that this is a planet completely run and inhabited by machines. Humans and machines don't mix. But, you know, this is No-No's friend. That's Ulysses. He wants to save them. So he does. Oh, by the way, her name's Nanette, so it's No-No Nanette. Does that make any sense to you? You know, I've heard that somewhere, but I can't remember what from. Anyway, so, yeah, he rescues them, and she just can't understand why.
Thanks, No-No.
Anyway, we find out this planet is run by a machine called Cortex, and guess who he serves? He serves the gods. And he also controls all the robots on the planet. So if Nanette wants to help them leave, because he wants Ulysses and his companions to die and never leave, he threatens her with being dismantled. Obviously No-No and Nanette aren't really too pleased, and Ulysses wants to help her, but he also wants to get off the planet. What's he going to do? How is he going to get out of this one? And how does No-No play a big part in this episode? Right, I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave you with that, and if you want to, you'll have to find the episode yourself. May I be honest though, before you see this episode, do be prepared for a sad ending, okay? I'm not going to say any more. Okay, so this one looks like it's taken out of Star Wars, doesn't it? This is great. So, the gods for some reason have sent out ships to attack Telemachus. That's just spiteful and mean. And meantime, they've got problems of their own. Ulysses' ship's on fire, and it's in danger of killing his companions. What's that look like, eh? 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 Anyway, it's Ulysses. Ulysses can do what he wants. Anyway, both him and Telemachus are caught in a firefight with these ships sent by the gods, so they try to make a break for it. Then all of a sudden, as they approach the planet, the ships sent by the gods just start exploding.
Father, did you see that? The Trident ships are exploding.
That could mean anything. Return to the
You've got a point there, Ulysses. It could be one of about 1,000,000 things, but never mind, it's going to help you out for the time being. And as they approach this planet, the ship starts to magically repair itself. That's amazing. And that's not the most amazing thing that happens in this particular episode. Anyway, as they start to come into land, they're greeted by this mysterious voice.
No panic, please. Here you are under my protection, sheltered from the gods of Olympus.
This is none other than a magician in black, and he is all-powerful.
My magic powers know no bounds.
Well then, in that case, there's
So
one little
Ulysses
favor
tries
you
to
can
make a
do for me.
bargain with him.
Oh? And what's that?
The gods have made my companions rigid to punish me for destroying their Cyclops. If your power is as great as you say, bring all my companions.
So Ulysses
back
wants
to
his
life,
companions
and
brought
then
back
we would
to
all
life.
be very happy.
But nothing's free, is it?
Indeed. And what will you do for me in return for this great service?
Do in return.
Yes, fair enough. An exchange. But what has Ulysses got that he wants?
But what can I offer
Eh?
you? With a wave of your hand, you can have anything.
Oh, don't worry. I wouldn't...
No, Ulysses, don't commit to something before you know the price, man. I mean, you're great, Ulysses, but don't commit, mate, till you know what he wants. Ugh. And it turns out the black magician isn't just boasting, he is that powerful. And he brings all of Ulysses' companions out of their stone-like state.
Yes, sir, my old friend.
What happened to us?
So Ulysses and his companions are reunited, but remember, the black magician said that Ulysses had to do something in return.
To give me something in return.
Yes,
I told you it would be something.
but what could Ulysses do for him?
I've kept my promise. Haven't I?
Ulysses, though, is a man of his word. He will not renege. But what could it possibly be? What's going to
I hadn't
happen?
intended speaking of it until later. But perhaps
Well, for those of you who want to know, I'm not going to tell you. All I can say is, you better check this episode out. Now, I always found this story in this particular episode very interesting. This is Sisyphus, by the way, and he's being punished by the gods. Yes, everybody in the show is punished by the gods, but he has got an extraordinarily cruel punishment. He has to do the same thing, day in, day out. It's the most repetitive thing in the world. He has to crush up these balls and throw them down the hole, and yet again they come back round and he has to repeat the horrible, miserable process. So, you wonder, how did he get to this situation? What could he possibly have done to incur the wrath of the gods so badly? Well, you know, I've not been giving you the ends to these episodes, but I will tell you how he got in this situation. Hey, I tell you what, have any of you lot seen a film called Triangle? This explains it, listen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Aeolus. Aeolus. Aeolus was the great god of the winds and the father of Sisyphus. A man condemned by the gods to the task of pushing a rock up a mountain and they see it roll back down again. That's a pretty shitty punishment. What do you do?
He cheated death. Or, no, he made a promise to death that he didn't keep.
Well, I'll give you a better explanation, but if you haven't seen the film Triangle, you've got to see it because it ties in. You see, Sisyphus had a great life, but what he wanted eternal life.
To explore the desert of the Tartars.
So he goes forth to discover the secret of eternal life.
If you set out to discover the secret of the gods, you reap their anger.
You hear what his wife said? Reap the anger of the gods. And he just mocks and laughs in the face of them. I don't fear the gods. Well, I bet he's flipping fearing them now. But now the gods come to him with this.
Find someone else to replace you, and you may leave Olympus.
The gods have, you know, no real reason to honour that.
But you know very well there is no one. No one ever comes.
But they're telling him that Ulysses is passing. If you get Ulysses to take your place, then you're free to go. Yeah, like you can trust the gods, eh?
Free?
Well, Ulysses, being the cool guy that he is, tries to help you, but Sisyphus thinks, I have to make you stay here. I have to have you replace me so that I can leave. But Ulysses said that we can both leave together. Should have listened to Ulysses, that's all I can say. I'm not going to tell you the ending to the story. You probably worked it out.
The gods have spoken. The gods, they're always against me.
And there we have it. That's my top 5 of Ulysses. If you've never seen the show, or never heard of it, now's your time to see it. In my opinion, and that's just my opinion by the way, it's probably one of the best animated cartoons ever. The music is brilliant. The stories are compelling. It's got one of the best roundups from beginning to end. You have a beginning that makes sense. We have the adventures in between. and we have a proper end. We don't leave it open, we don't have a crummy end leaving open for season 2. We have a beginning, middle and end. We have the full story arc. It's so well executed, I can't praise this highly enough. And on top of all that, it's got Ulysses. What more can I say?